What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents.
Alright, this story's called Entitled Grandma Tries Again to Get Me Fired. So this is actually a follow-up to a previous story from about 3 months ago. If you don't feel like reading that first part, basically, this old lady, who dyed her hair hot pink for some reason, tried to get me fired for writing terribly on her grandkid's birthday cake, even though I never wrote on it. I don't know what her problem was, but for some reason, she just hates me and wants me out of the store I work in. I really didn't think I'd ever have to deal with her again, but today, unfortunately, came a part 2 to the story. Here's the cast. The entitled grandma, daughter, entitled grandma's daughter, manager, security. I was working the morning shift, after morning classes, which sucks donkey garbanzos, when this lady comes up to the counter of my department. I didn't recognize her at all, but she obviously recognized me, because I didn't even get to greet her before she started talking in an angry tone. Hey, I remember you. Really? I don't remember you. Sorry. The birthday cake. My mom bought a cake from here and says you wrote that crap on it. I remembered instantly. Oh, I remember your mom. I hope you know you made a 7-year-old boy cry on his birthday. I'm surprised you're even still here. Well, that must have set off a trigger, because normally, I'm actually pretty submissive. I was pretty much molded into it by years of customer service and HR breathing down my neck. But dealing with that lady made me regret ever working in this store, and I was not gonna take the blame for something I didn't do anymore, even if it cost me my job. Alright, look lady, I'll have you know my boss and the security tape proved I didn't write on that cake. So it's really not fair to come in and yell at me for something that happened months ago, and for something I didn't even do. Weren't you there with her when you got the cake? And that actually made her pretty cool. She stopped looking so angry. She actually looked kinda guilty. Well, actually, yeah, she took it home. I didn't see it until the next day, I think. I remember, she said she was going to have your brother write on the cake for her. Wait, she said that? Yeah, she said he was a bakery manager. Is that true? I don't have a brother. Wait, you don't? Suddenly, I was just as confused as she was. She and I were trying to wrap our heads around the situation to find the truth. It was like we were trying to solve a robbery. She was recapping everything that was happening that she remembered, and I was explaining what entitled grandma was saying to me when she came in to complain. And we both kept bringing up the son that she kept telling me about. That was when we both came to the most possible explanation. This old lady tried to write on the cake herself, was unsatisfied with how it came out, then pinned the blame on me so she didn't look bad. Daughter was instantly ashamed of her mother, who apparently did this kind of stuff a lot. She offered to tip me for being a good sport, I guess, with $5. But I declined and waited on her like before. Unfortunately, I can't take tips. Darn it. When she was gone, I stopped for a minute and held my head. Then, I'm out on the floor, and suddenly, from the store entrance, there she is. Entitled grandma, looking just as crazy as she did before. Her hair still dyed pink. She waddled over to the office. I couldn't hear what she was saying, but she looked enraged. The phone rings. OP, can you please come up to my office? Oh boy, here we go again. I make it up to his office, and she's sitting there, her arms crossed. She was staring at me with eyes like daggers. I walked in, manager pulls up a chair, security was standing at the door, and he had a smile on his face. OP, this lady says her daughter came in and... I wasn't quite intimidated anymore when he actually chuckled. Entitled grandma looked at him with a me gusta look. Why are you laughing? This is not funny. He laughs again. OP, do you know her daughter? Well, I did talk to her earlier today. Why? So you admit you tried to seduce my daughter? Wait, what? Don't play dumb, you pervert. You know exactly what you did. Ma'am? He actually pulls out a pad and paper. Why don't you tell me what happened? Gladly. She told him, and while she talked, he wrote her testimony out. My daughter called me and said that this man, who you should have fired months ago, was telling her to show him her chest in public. He even told her they could go to the bathroom where he probably was going to violate her. Isn't that right, you piece of dookie? By this point, we were laughing. Me, manager, and security, all laughing at this insane lady. Now she went from me gusta face to are you serious face? Why are you laughing? Arrest this man. He's a violator.
Oh, P, why don't you give your side of the story?
What? I wiped a tear from my glasses. Gladly. So he starts writing again. Her daughter came in, we talked, she told me about the last incident with the cake, she apologized for her mother, who was right here, and we both agreed that all this is because this lady wrote on the cake herself, knew it looked bad, and tried to blame me for it, and get me fired, like she's doing now.
Now that sounds a lot more believable.
What? You're saying this is all my fault?
Ma'am, if I remember correctly, we looked at the security tapes and found that you walked out of the store with the blank cake. Then you came in and tried to make me fire an innocent man.
You also said your son would write on it. Yes, but he was busy, so I brought it. And your daughter also told me you don't have a son.
Oh, really?
By this point, her face was red, like cherry Kool-Aid red. Why aren't you arresting this sick, illegitimate child? He violated my daughter.
How could he when there were several people around who we can easily call up and they can verify if he did or didn't?
But you're supposed to take the victim's side, not the violators. Security laughed, holding his face.
Okay, OP, I think it's safe to say you can go back now. Yeah, sorry.
No problem. I get up, and this fat lady lunges at me, trying to grab me. But instead, she falls off her chair and lands flat on her face, her flab spreading out on the floor. She starts squealing, literally. I tried my hardest not to laugh, so I just left. I went back, in tears, laughing more and more. At the end of my shift, both manager and my department manager got together with me, sat me down, and apologized for this whole ordeal. Manager says that security walked entitled grandma out of the store, her throwing a fit the whole way out, and said that from this point on, she was on the watch list. This list is for shoplifters and county criminals for security to keep an eye on. So, in other words, if she comes near the store again, security will throw her out and call the police on her. Manager gave me a $20 gift card to the store, and my department manager treated me to a few drinks at the bar after our shift. We both laughed at the fact that this lady really wanted me to go to jail over something as stupid as writing on a cake. Okay, so it's very clear that that woman is quite honestly a very horrible, horrible person, okay? False accusations left and right, and there was quite the jump in terms of seriousness of these accusations from the first to the second time, okay? The cake thing was, not that big of a deal. Still horrible to do, but still not that big of a deal, okay? But what, the second accusation? Are you serious? No, that's horrible. This story is called Entitled Mom Forced My Friend to Date Entitled Kid. Here's the cast. There's Friend, Entitled Mother,
Entitled Kid, Gold Digger, Teacher,
Howie Friend 1, Howie Friend 2,
Principal.
Context. My friend, she is 12 years old, late birthday, and she is a very sweet and charming girl. No homo. My school is divided into roles. This is not official by the school, this is just a kid's thing. There's the king and queen, knights, jester, citizens, and peasants. This entitled kid was a knight. My friend is a citizen. I am a peasant. Ha 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 ha. Enough jibber jabber. Let's get on to the story. According to Friend, she was hanging out in the halls one day when entitled kid came up to her with a smile on his face. Here's how their conversation went. Hello, do I know you?
Now you do. My name's Entitled Kid. You're a pretty girl. Are you single?
He puts his arm around her shoulder.
I really like you.
Like me, my friend has anxiety. She started to panic a little as this was all too sudden to her, and I don't blame her. I'm sorry, what? We just met. He tries to lean in for a kiss.
You're now mine.
Cue hallway friend 1 and 2.
What's going on here? Ooh, I ship.
This boy randomly came up to me and said he liked me and tried to
We're dating. Isn't that right, Sugar Bear?
I don't believe you, entitled kid.
Yeah, aren't you entitled kid? I've heard of you before.
We aren't dating. He randomly came up to me and tried to kiss me.
Well, I called dibs on you, and I have a higher role than you in the school, so I have more power than you.
That's not how relationships work, buddy.
Let her go. We're gonna be late for class.
According to friend, teacher from across the hall noticed what's going on. Teacher walks towards them.
What's the issue here?
Entitled kid is forcing me to date him.
No, I'm not. We're already dating. Right, honey?
I saw everything. He is forcing her to date him.
Yeah, he is.
I'm sorry, entitled kid, but as much as you want her, I don't think you can force her to be your girlfriend. She will be mine. She's beautiful, looks rich, and that's enough for me. I chose her, so she is now mine. I have a higher role than her. Therefore, she has no rights, especially since she's a girl. If you don't leave the girls alone, I will send you to the principal. I don't care. She's mine. That's it.
Teacher then forced entitled kid, hallway friends 1 and 2, and friend to the main office, where Mr. Principal of the thing would be waiting.
What seems to be the issue here? According to friend, entitled kid is forcing her to date him when she doesn't want to.
He tried to kiss me when I didn't want that too.
Wow, that's stupid.
Young love drama, I see.
He looks at entitled kid.
As much as you want friend, I don't think she likes you back. You don't have authority over a human. You can't force her to date you. Does it look like I give a frick?
Everyone in the room does.
Legas.
According to friend, the principal chuckles, then contacts entitled kid's mom on the spot. Friend said that she couldn't hear the conversation, but entitled mom sounded like she was yelling on the phone. Everyone was sent back to their class since it was time for 7th period. Everyone got sent except for entitled kid. Once school ended, friend was walking home only to find entitled kid and entitled mom red in the faces with anger.
You got my son in trouble, you spoiled brat! You will date my son! You won't find anyone better anyways! I called dibs on you, therefore you're mine!
Friend starts to tear up a bit.
No!
Entitled mother,
Yes you will, you entitled brat! No! Kiss me!
hallway friend 1, luckily, was near. It is said by friend that hallway friend 1 became the hero by grabbing friend and running off with her. Teacher was outside the school dismissing the kids when friend and hallway friend 1 ran up to him and told him everything. Friend later then tells me that entitled kid was expelled since she didn't see entitled kid at school the next day. Sorry for making this so long. I didn't know how to make this shorter. Anyways, I am very happy that my friend is now free from this trouble and she can enjoy her life. This story's called Entitled Mom and Her Wailing Goblin Get Banned from the Skating Rink. So this happened a few years ago. Here's the cast. There's Entitled Mother, Entitled Kid, me,
2 coaches, a supervisor,
and lots of other skaters. So a little background. In high school, I used to work as a figure skating coach. I've been a competitive skater since I was 4, and anyone can become a coach as long as they pass certification from the US Figure Skating Association and get a background check. This happened a couple of months after I first started teaching. The rink I worked at hosted summer group lessons. These are meant to teach beginner skaters between ages 4 and 12 the basics of skating. Classes in the summer this time were split depending on age and skill level. But before class officially starts, all of the coaches are supposed to help the newest, youngest skaters get onto the ice safely. There was one 5-year-old that was already making a fuss, and his mom was nearly shoving him in her attempts to get him to step onto the ice. Coach that's in charge of his class waves me and the other coaches off, saying she could handle it. Everyone else starts teaching, and there is peace for about 10 minutes. Next thing I know, I hear full-on wailing mixed with screeching, and I turn from teaching my class to see that 5-year-old having a tantrum on the ice. Most likely, he'd fallen, but he wasn't letting the coach help him up. Instead, he resorted to trying to kick anyone that came near him. One of the other coaches goes to help, and the two of them manage to get the kid up from the ice. Unfortunately, this kid ends up kicking both coaches. For those of you unfamiliar with skates, the blades have toe picks on the front of the blade, which are basically little spikes. Very painful if it hits you. These two coaches are trying not to drop the kid while hauling him off the ice, both of them with holes in their skating pants and blood visibly showing through. Entitled Mom comes running into the rink, and this kid immediately starts stomping around on the ground, still screaming and crying. My supervisor is trying to calm the Entitled Mom down, from what I could see, but all I heard was the mother screeching that her son didn't have enough attention and she paid for him to learn how to skate. It was unfair to take him off the ice, etc., etc. My rink's policy is that no matter who you are, child or adult, if you assault any employee, you are banned from skating there again. Supervisor informs Entitled Mom of this, and after more arguing, she finally takes her crotch goblin and tries to leave. Except this kid now doesn't want to leave, and he ends up kicking his mother in the shins with his skates and then kicking the metal frame of the rink boards. Skating blades plus metal equals almost completely irreversible damage. Supervisor finally calls for backup, and a couple police officers arrive after that. We have a sheriff's outpost near the rink since the area surrounding the rink has a lot of traffic and people going through it. The manager of the rink comes in as well since the ruckus still hadn't died down, and told Entitled Mother that she'd have to pay for property damage as well to replace the rental skates her son had ruined. The Entitled Mother is now arguing with the manager, and Supervisor and two coaches are trying to wrestle the skates off of the 5-year-old before he does more damage to property or other people. Finally, Supervisor has had enough and tells Entitled Mother to get the hell out and take her son with her. And that if her son did even more damage, she'll press assault charges on behalf of the two coaches. Officers gently escort this woman out. They basically had to force her out because she was still trying to argue, and after the coaches get treated for their injuries, classes finally resume. I was honestly pretty shocked from this whole situation, because I'd never encountered anything like that before. Screaming kids, yes, but not to that extreme, and definitely nothing like the mother. Thankfully, I never saw them again, and the rest of my time working at the rink was much more uneventful. Alright, this is a message to all the Karens out there. Not that, any of them have the good taste to watch this YouTube channel, but if you let your kids act like that in public, it's a slippery slope.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.